Lamar Jackson is back on the field, and from what he's saying, he feels good enough to practice fully and step into games, but as always, it's never quite that simple with Lamar and the Ravens. The conversation quickly turns to the offensive line, and it's hard to ignore the fact that through Week 11, Lamar has been sacked as many times as he was all of last season. That's 23 sacks this year alone, and anyone who watches football knows that's not a position you want your quarterback to be in. Lamar himself addressed it with a mix of humor and frustration, saying something along the lines of, "I gotta talk to my guys about that," a half smile on his face. But the message was clear: this needs to stop. It wasn't a public call-out or a drama-filled moment. Lamar wasn't blaming anyone outright. Still, the reality is hard to sugarcoat. Running for your life is never a good sign, and this season, Lamar has seen far too much of that. He acknowledges that pressure is part of football, that sometimes defenders get you, sometimes they don't. But the sheer volume of hits he's taking is becoming a serious concern. It's one thing to deal with the occasional rush. It's another when the offensive line consistently fails to give you the space and time needed to execute plays. Even when Lamar is managing to stay upright, that relentless pressure takes a toll, testing his agility, reaction time, and overall durability. The sheer physicality of the opponents he faces only amplifies the concern. Think about the game against the Browns. Myles Garrett was everywhere, pressuring Lamar at nearly every turn. And while the Ravens might not see someone of Garrett's caliber again until perhaps the postseason, the lesson is the same. When the offensive line struggles, Lamar has to rely on his mobility more than ever, and that's not sustainable game after game. Other teams will apply pressure in different ways, through stunts, blitzes, or aggressive defensive schemes. And Lamar has to find ways to navigate it all. The numbers back it up. In Week 11, Baltimore ranked dead last in pass protection among all 30 teams. That's a stark statistic, one that underscores just how much work needs to be done. It's not that every play is disastrous, and not every player is failing consistently. But there's a pattern emerging. Some players shine briefly before another misstep. Some show flashes of potential but regress quickly. It's a revolving door of performance, and the instability puts Lamar in the crosshairs repeatedly. While Daniel Falele shares some responsibility, it's not solely on him. Other linemen like Rosengard, Ronnie Stanley, and Tyler Linderbaum have had their moments of struggle, some of which stem from the failures of their teammates. The coaching staff has to find a solution, whether it's adjusting schemes, rotating personnel, or improving fundamentals, because the quarterback's health and the offense's efficiency are on the line. Even Lamar himself recognizes the challenge in a half-joking, half-serious way. He knows it's a problem. He's felt the hits, and he's adapting where he can, but experience hasn't made it painless. He's learned to protect his body over the years, to avoid unnecessary hits and get down when possible. But the speed and intensity of the pass rush this year sometimes remove those opportunities entirely. Those first hits in the pocket, unexpected and violent, demand instant reaction, and they wear on any quarterback over time. Lamar has evolved since his rookie season, but the learning curve doesn't end, especially when you're constantly facing defensive linemen who can change a play in a fraction of a second. This season also highlights how injuries complicate things. Lamar's dealing with lingering issues in his hamstring, knee, and ankle. Subtle but impactful injuries that affect his burst and overall mobility. Combine that with a struggling offensive line, and the effect is magnified. It's not a matter of Lamar slowing down with age. He insists he doesn't feel old. It's about managing what's already a physically demanding game and mitigating damage while still performing at an elite level. Every hit, every sack, every forced scramble is a reminder of just how crucial his protection and support on the line are. Stats and context tell a compelling story. Last year, under pressure, Lamar had one of the best sack-to-pressure ratios in the league, fourth best in fact. This season, he ranks third to first. The difference is glaring. The pressure arrives faster, the gaps are narrower, and the defensive players are relentless. Combine that with inconsistencies in the running game, and opposing defenses can pin their ears back and rush Lamar without hesitation. Without effective play action to slow down the pass rush, the quarterback's job becomes exponentially harder. Last year, teams had to respect both Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. But this year, defensive fronts have fewer concerns in the run game, allowing them to focus almost entirely on getting to Lamar. Even the subtleties in how Lamar navigates these pressures reveal a lot about the state of the Ravens' offense. He's aware of when he's about to take a big hit in the pocket versus when he's moving outside of it. And while he can escape in open space, there aren't enough opportunities to do so because defenders are hitting him before he can react. Plays that should develop over several seconds are collapsing in one, testing his quickness, decision-making, and resilience. Every defensive lineman who penetrates the line instantly challenges him to improvise, which is physically and mentally draining over the course of a game. The offensive line struggles ripple through the entire offense. Poor blocking affects the running game, which in turn limits the effectiveness of play action. That puts more pressure on Lamar, which can lead to hurried throws, misreads, and more sacks. It's a vicious cycle. But when the run game works, even partially, the whole system benefits. Lamar has shown he can elevate the offense, despite weaknesses, but the line's inconsistency is becoming an obstacle even his mobility struggles to overcome. If the Ravens can start to re-establish a strong run game, it would relieve some pressure on Lamar and help the offense regain its rhythm, opening lanes and giving him the time to operate within the pocket safely. Lamar's approach to this adversity is telling. He hasn't let frustration overwhelm him publicly, but he's vocal enough to signal that he recognizes the urgency of the situation. There's a mix of humor and seriousness in his comments, half smirking at the ridiculousness of the sacks, half understanding the serious implications of repeated hits. It's a delicate balance, acknowledging the challenge while maintaining confidence. Yet it's clear that he is ready for changes to be made. The team needs to respond with adjustments, whether through personnel changes, coaching tweaks, or improved execution. Because the quarterback's health and the offense's success are on the line, it's a season where every week matters more than ever, with only a handful of games remaining. The Ravens can't afford errors in protection or execution. Lamar Jackson remains the centerpiece, the player around whom the offense revolves, but without a solid line in front of him, even his extraordinary athleticism is tested. The pressure he faces isn't just a stat on a sheet, it's a constant, physical, high-speed reality that shapes how he can perform and how the offense can succeed. Every decision by the coaching staff and every play by the offensive line impacts not only the current game, but the trajectory of the season. Lamar's experience, mobility, and resilience are remarkable. But football is a team sport, and no quarterback, no matter how gifted, can consistently thrive when the protection in front of him falters. Looking deeper at the Ravens' offensive struggles this season, it's impossible to ignore how much the run game, or lack thereof, has impacted Lamar Jackson's ability to thrive. Last season, the Ravens' offense was an intricate balance, with Derrick Henry and Lamar forcing defenses to respect both the run and the pass. That threat opened lanes, created space in the pocket, and allowed Lamar to operate with timing and precision. This year, however, it has felt like that dynamic is missing, at least in the consistency that Lamar and the team need. When the running game falters, the play action loses its bite, and defenders are free to focus solely on pressuring the quarterback. Lamar's already contending with an offensive line that has struggled to keep him upright, and now he's facing defenses who know they can collapse the pocket almost at will. The combination is brutal for any quarterback, even one as talented as Jackson. Even when the Ravens attempt to run the ball effectively, it feels sporadic. Derrick Henry is still a dominant force, but the success rate on rushing attempts has fluctuated week to week. The game against the Browns offered some hope, an average of 5.8 yards per carry, but it's not enough to establish a rhythm over the course of a season. Defenses have noticed the inconsistencies and adjusted accordingly. When the rushing lanes aren't consistently there, defensive fronts can crowd the line, cheat gap assignments, and bring pressure that Lamar cannot always avoid. And unlike a quarterback with less mobility, Lamar's unique style can mask flaws in protection, but there is a limit. Continuous pressure, especially up the middle or from unblocked interior defenders, limits his ability to escape and forces quick decisions that increase the risk of mistakes or injuries. Lamar himself is acutely aware of this. He knows that part of the issue is the offensive line, part of it is the inconsistencies in the run game, and part of it is just the sheer speed and athleticism of defenders who know they can get to him quickly. He isn't dodging responsibility. He's not saying the line should do all the work, but he's highlighting the reality that football is a team sport, and success in the passing game depends on a foundation that begins in the trenches. Even his best instincts can only do so much when defenders are hitting him in the pocket before plays can fully develop. The hits don't just affect the immediate play, they sap energy, test durability, and subtly impact decision-making over the course of the game. Lamar's ability to escape and make spectacular plays has always been part of what makes him elite, but the constant pressure changes the equation entirely. The stats support what you see on the field. Last year, the Ravens gave up only 23 sacks all season, ranking among the best in the league in terms of quarterback protection. This year, in just 11 weeks, they've matched that number. That's a significant regression. Even more telling is Lamar's sack-to-pressure ratio, which has plummeted from 4th best in the league last season to 3rd of 1st this season. When defenders reach him 30% of the time under pressure, it's a sign that the offense is struggling to maintain the balance and timing that Lamar needs to succeed. The interior line, in particular, has been porous, making it nearly impossible for Lamar to consistently use his mobility to evade threats. That's where experience and instincts can only carry you so far. This also shines a light on the Ravens' strategic approach. Play action is designed to manipulate defensive alignment, to freeze linebackers and safeties, and to create opportunities for the quarterback to operate in the pocket. When the running game isn't effective, the play action loses credibility, and defenses react faster, collapsing the pocket before Lamar can find his window. The cascading effect is clear. Weaker rushing attacks lead to faster defensive recognition, which leads to quicker pressure on Lamar, which leads to hurried throws and missed opportunities. It's a chain reaction that starts at the offensive line and the running game, and ultimately affects the quarterback's ability to execute at a high level. Yet Lamar's adaptability is remarkable. Despite injuries, inconsistent blocking, and relentless pressure, he continues to find ways to extend plays, evade defenders, and make something out of nothing. But even the most talented quarterback has limits. The repeated hits, especially unexpected ones in the pocket, are physically punishing. The interior line struggles to hold the point of attack, which means Lamar's options shrink and his margin for error diminishes. Even his elite speed and agility can't fully compensate when defenders are in his face before the snap or bursting through gaps with perfect timing. It's a situation that requires not just skill, but resilience, intelligence, and the ability to adapt under extreme pressure. The nuances of timing and spacing are critical. Lamar thrives when the pocket is clean for just a split second longer, allowing him to survey the field and make his reads. When that window closes prematurely, he's forced to improvise, relying on mobility and quick decision-making. That improvisation can lead to incredible plays, but it can also result in sacks, hurried throws, or minor injuries that accumulate over time. Even veteran quarterbacks acknowledge that the hits from unexpected angles, when the body is relaxed and unprepared, are often the most damaging. Lamar is no exception. Managing the body while still performing at an elite level is a tightrope, and the Ravens' current offensive performance makes that balancing act increasingly difficult. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. In a shocking turn of events that has sent shockwaves through the NFL community, Ravens head coach John Harbaugh appeared to lose his composure during a live interview, sparking immediate speculation about the future of one of the team's star players. The usually composed Harbaugh, known for his measured and strategic demeanor, was visibly frustrated as he addressed the cameras, making cryptic comments that hinted at internal tensions within the organization. Sources close to the team suggest that this outburst may not have been a simple lapse of emotion, but a carefully veiled signal that change is on the horizon. Fans and analysts alike have been quick to dissect every word and gesture, with social media platforms exploding with theories about which player could be on the verge of departure. While Harbaugh did not mention any names directly, insiders claim the remarks were pointed enough to fuel speculation that a high-profile member of the Ravens roster might soon be seeking or being asked for a move away from the team. The atmosphere in the locker room, according to whispers from unnamed sources, has been tense, and this live incident may have been the breaking point that finally brought internal disagreements into the public eye. The timing of the outburst has only intensified the rumor mill, coinciding with a period of mixed performances and mounting pressure on the franchise to make bold decisions. Sports commentators are now debating whether this episode signals a forthcoming trade, a potential release, or simply a warning shot aimed at shaking up team dynamics. Regardless of the ultimate outcome, the incident has reignited conversations about Harbaugh's leadership style and his willingness to take dramatic measures to assert control over his squad. As the NFL world watches closely, Speculation continues to mount. Some analysts argue that Harbaugh's candid display of emotion could be a strategic play to catalyze a shift in team culture, while others warn it might reflect deeper fractures in a roster that has struggled to find consistent cohesion. The next moves by the Ravens front office are now under intense scrutiny, and insiders hint that whatever decision emerges could have ripple effects throughout the league. One thing is certain: John Harbaugh's unexpected live meltdown has set tongues wagging, leaving fans desperate for answers and rivals eager to capitalize on any hint of instability. In the world of professional football, where rumors spread faster than plays on the field, this latest episode is shaping up to be a story that won't fade anytime soon. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.